Hello everyone, I am Pragya Srivastav. I am here to record a lecture on VLSI technology. The course code is KC053 and in my present lecture, we are discussing its unit 4 and the topic which we are going to study is ion implantation. In the previous lectures, we have studied diffusion and ion implantation both are the methods to create wells inside the already existing p-type or n-type substrate. This well can be n-type or p-type or n plus type, any type. So, ion implantation, it is a semiconductor conduction properties can be changed by introducing small quantity of dopants. So, how we can change the semiconductor conduction properties? Let's say we have a n-type semiconductor, n-type substrate here. Now, we want to change the semiconductor conducting qualities. We can make it n plus. So, that well is created and that well is well is having differently conducting properties than the parent lattice. So, parent is n and the well is n plus. So, we are able to change the conductivity. There is a need of a method of introducing dopant that is controllable, reproducible and free from undesirable effects. In diffusion, always the surface concentration is going to be highest. So, what we are doing when we have studied in the previous that in the process of diffusion, the concentration of the dopants is highest at the surface. After that, it is going to follow either the complementary error function or Gaussian profile. Means at the boundary it is maximum. After that, either there will be a error function profile, means it is falling, or a Gaussian profile, it is always falling. So, if we want to bring down the surface concentration, necessarily we have to go deeper. So, there are two factors, the surface concentration and the depth that are related issues in the case of diffusion. So, this is a comparative diagram where first picture shows the adding of dopant using diffusion, and the second picture shows adding of dopant using ion implantation. So, the desired thing was like that, if we are having a substrate like this and then we have a silicon dioxide insulation like this. So, this was the desired profile which we required. I am going to make some color so that we are clear that this is what we require. But instead of getting this profile, we are actually getting extended n well when we talk about diffusion. So, this is what's happening. We wanted it to be like this and we are getting the extended things. So, we can see that the junction depth is not actually controlled. The junction depth is like we have to stop here, then we have to stop here. So, the junction depth should be very precise and very accurate. On the other hand, we just analyze what is ion implantation. In ion implantation, are we getting the desired well or we are extending it? No, actually we are almost getting the correct thing. It is not at all extended sideways like horizontally or vertically, not at all extended. Another thing, when I talk about junction depth, the junction depth is very much accurate. I wanted it strictly between these two boundaries, so it is strictly between these two boundaries. So, this is telling us that this is a highly precise option available to us. So, it is a precise option. During ion implantation, dopants are vaporized, accelerated and directed at a silicon substrate. They enter the crystal lattice, they collide with silicon atoms, they gradually lose their energy and they finally coming to the rest at some depth within the lattice. So, what is actually happening is, it is done using some ion beams. So, ion implantation is generating some ion beams. So, these ion beams are entering into the silicon lattice. So, when they are entering, they collide. When they collide, they lose energy. So, when they collide, they lose energy and they finally come to rest. So when they finally come to rest, they are now a part of silicon substrate. So the average depth can be controlled by adjusting the acceleration energy. When the acceleration energy is more, it can enter into a higher depth, larger depth, and when the acceleration energy is less, it will settle down somewhere before the point. The dopant dose can be controlled by monitoring the current of ion implantation. So dopant dose means amount of dopant that has to be added can also be controlled. So we can see that it is a process in which the control lies within my hand. Dopants initial stated with high energy ion beam, then once they have penetrated the semiconductor, they begin to lose their energy. The process of losing their energy can either be by colliding with the lattice or elastic collision. So this is a add-on information. Next thing, we have to see that when the ion stops, there has to be two kinds. One is nuclear stopping and another is electronic stopping. So nuclear stopping, this is the first. So in stopping we have one is nuclear and second is electronic. So nuclear stopping. Stopping mechanism can be studied in two methods, nuclear stopping and electronic stopping. So nuclear stopping, when the energetic ion loses energy by colliding with the lattice atom, losing energy to the lattice, and this process create point defects with vacancies and interstitials. We can see in this diagram that we can see nuclear stopping. So nuclear stopping, the ion is actually hitting the silicon atom, and then the silicon atom is getting displaced, and then we get a defect, or we can call it a vacancy or defect. So we have seen that again high energy electron collides, loses energy by colliding, and then process is creating defect or vacancy. Next is electronic stopping. High energy beam supplies the energy to the bound electrons. So once they are bound electrons, they are settled. So this bound electrons, when gain energy, they become free electrons. The bond breaks, and using when they get or inherit this energy, the bound electrons and the bond between the two electrons breaks, and they become a free electron. So this free electron, because they gain energy, they are called electronic stopping. So this is here method is, we can see that this is making free electron here, and we can see that this is again free electron and the ion. Nuclear stopping, main stopping mechanism, collision with nuclei, scattered significantly and causes crystal damage, elastic collision. What are the features of electronic stopping? It is inelastic collision with electrons, energy transfer is small, negligible crystal structure damage. So we can say that this one is better. Here we have crystalline silicon substrate damaged by collision. Electronic excitation creates heat. So the two have the add-on feature that here it is creating a damage, and here it is creating a heat. So heat getting created is also not required. The process does not create heat. Next is we have a curve in which we study the stopping power and the ion velocity. So here is the ion velocity, that side we have the stopping power. So when we talk about the nuclear stopping is nothing but the first one. So in this, the nuclear stopping, the stopping power increases, and then the stopping power increases and it falls like this. So we can see, and in electronic stopping. So electronic stopping, the stopping power increases like this and it falls like this. So we have light ions at higher energy, more electronic stopping like this. Heavier ions at lower energy, more nuclear stopping like this, arsenic. So it depends that which ion we are having. Next is range theory, range of ion. So what is actually the range? We are talking range theory. Range is the distance traversed during which the ion energy has fallen from its initial energy to zero. So of course, the ion has to stop, ion has to come to rest, ion has to stop its momentum, so it has to lose energy to zero. So of course the ion was having some initial energy. So during a process from the ion was having some initial energy to a point where the ion is now at zero energy, the distance which is traveled in between this time interval, that is the distance, is called the range. So range is the distance traversed by the ion from a position of its high energy to a position of its zero energy. So when the ion energy becomes zero, the point where it comes to rest, therefore it is a point up to which the dopants have penetrated, successfully landed up, successfully settled up on the semiconductor. So how far the ion has gone inside the semiconductor, it is called the range of ions. The journey, journey which an ion has traversed. R is the distance traversed, which is the ion energy has fallen from initial to zero, and it is given by integral 0 to r dx. So of course r is the final point. R is the point where the energy is falling to 0, and 0 is the point where the ion beam is just entering the semiconductor, is where the energy is E0, and that is the initial value of the energy. The obtained amorphous silicon lattice, one very common way of doing is to misalign the single crystal with respect to ion beam by 7 to 10 degrees. So amorphous silicon, we are talking about how to obtain amorphous silicon lattice. The purpose is telling, the purpose involves misalignment. The ion beam should not be direct exactly along a major crystallographic axis. The ion beam should not come parallel to any of these crystallographic axes. It will be slightly misaligned. So this is the process to get amorphous silicon. For the incident ion beam, the symmetry of the lattice structure is not visible. The symmetry of the lattice structure is only visible when the beam is oriented along either of the crystallographic axis. So this is a very common practice of misorient to just alignment of 7 or 10 degrees. So we just have to achieve, and we just have to provide a misalignment or misorientation of 7 to 10 degrees, which is very small. When the beam is directed along with crystallographic axis, it is possible for the incident ion beams to find the corridor in between the lattice atoms and the interstitial space. It is possible to find the empty passage way between the between the array of atoms through which the ions can move forward and within considerable distance without any collision. So therefore without any loss of energy. So the ions which move much deeper than that is normally expected is called channeling. That is, the ions have found the channel in between the regular lattice atom and it is moved forward to a considerable distance. When the dose is high, then the channeling is low. Here we can see the ion implantation channeling. If the incident angle is right, ions can travel long distance without collision with lattice atoms. We can see that this is when this is the incident angle, okay, and this is incident angle 1 and this one is incident angle 2. So when the incident angle is, we can see alignment, when the incident angle is right, the ions can travel long distance. This is the incident angle and this is the alignment of molecules. So we can see if the both are aligned, there is 100% alignment, there is no collision, and we can see that the distance can be long. And when the alignment is not matched, there is a misalignment. So, and the incident angle is this one. There is the, I should use a different in color. And this is the first collision. This is the second collision. This is the third. Of course, this item is also getting hit. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 collisions we can see. So very few collisions in the 100% alignment, very few collision, and lots of collision in only for 5 degrees to 10 degrees of misalignment. So this is what is happening. So this is next is the channeling effect. Channeling effect, in this channeling effect, we can see the channeling ion. We have to see the collisional ion and the change in the orientation, the misalignment is here. You can see some angle is there and that angle is theta. Wafer surface is there. So if the angle remains like this, the straight line, there is no collision. If I just deviate by very small degrees, if I make it like this, we can see a very small change. And let's count the number of collision. So this is the first collision, this is the second collision, third collision, fourth collision, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then again 8th, 9th and 10th. So out of a lattice which is having highly 15 molecules, there are 10 collisions. So this is what is happening when we talk about channeling effect. And the lattice atoms and the collisions, they are the alignment of lattice atoms and the collision is only dependent upon the angle. So we can see this one, there is a molecule which is entering here with 0 collisions, and here we can see, let's implant a molecule here, we have at least 9 collisions. 9 collisions are there. As the dose increases, the amount of channeling becomes less. The higher the dose is, the more is the disorder, and you are forcing more number of energetic ions into the semiconductor. When we are increasing the dose at that time, we are forcing more and more number of energetic ions into the semiconductor surface, and in the process you are creating more disorder, more damage. So the surface sample starts resembling an amorphous target, and then the profile is called a Gaussian. So the profile then achieved is Gaussian. On the other hand, when let's talk about reducing the dose. When the dose is much smaller than the ion beam, the directed beam along a major crystallographic axis, and then the disorder is less. The target resembles not an amorphous target, of course, but a crystalline target, and it is possible for the ion beams to find a channel and move forward through a much greater distance. So of course, there is another way of making silicon surface resemble the amorphous target in self-implantation prior to the actual plantation itself. Adding more to channeling, we direct an energetic silicon beam onto the silicon surface. Surface is getting amorphized so that the profile is going to be more Gaussian. So here we can see when we increase and decrease the amount of doping, there is a straight impact on channeling. Here post collision channeling. In this diagram we have seen that how post collision channeling is obtained. Post collision channeling means there is a wafer surface here, and in that wafer surface we have seen that we are changing the angle. So when we are changing the angle, instead of this we are entering it like this, and then just because the ion beam which is entering is hit by another molecule, it has to change its path. Here it has to change like this, then change like this, then again when it hits this one, there is a hit here, we have to change. There is a hit here, there is a hit here, we have to change. There is a hit here, we have to change. There is a hit here, we have to change. Here we don't see any hit, we can come straight. Then again there is a hit here, we have to change. Hit here, we have to change. Hit here. So we can see that how the process is changing due to collision. So this one is collision phase, this one is channeling phase, then again there is collisional phase. So this was the basics of ion implantation. We will be studying more in ion implantation in my next lecture. Thank you.